Hello everyone, welcome back to another Stocktwits executive interview. I'm Katie Perry, joined here by Nick Garland, COO of Simple Mining, a really fascinating company that just made the Inc. 5000. Nick, thank you so much for joining us today here on the floor. It's great to see you.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to learning more about you and obviously this really fast-growing company that you're with out of Iowa. We don't talk to a lot of companies from Iowa normally, so this is exciting.
Yeah, I am New York born and raised, so definitely not an Iowa native, but
you have an appreciation for the state.
For sure.
And a connection because you are a former baseball player.
Yes.
So tell us about that. How do you go from professional? I see you played professionally for the Twins, the Pirates. How did you go from being a baseball player to Bitcoin mining and helping run a Bitcoin mining company?
Anybody that's familiar with baseball or minor league baseball players, did not make it to the big leagues, but we don't get paid a lot of money, so came home from an off season with a couple dollars in my bank account. My little brother actually at the time, he had an idea that we should get into Bitcoin mining. So actually Adam Haynes, our CEO, met him on Twitter one day, started talking shop with him, and became a client of Simple Mining. So this is when the company just started. So we became one of the first clients of Simple Mining, and then asked him not to charge me anything and that I'd refer him a lot of business, and kind of just worked out a good relationship, and we built the company from there. So it's been a lot of fun. There's 75 employees now, and you mentioned the Inc. 5000. We've been growing very, very quick, and happy to dive deeper into it.
Yeah, I want to get into the growth. I'm fascinated where it's coming from. I feel like we all have a crypto brother, though. I have a crypto brother, too. He's more on the Ethereum side, but he was pushing me in that direction a few years ago as well. I probably should have listened to him. But let's talk a little bit, back up, let's talk about the company, because Bitcoin mining, I think for a lot of people are interested in it. They kind of understand it conceptually. They might own some Bitcoin. What does Simple Mining do? And when you say you were a client, what does it mean to be a client of Simple Mining?
I think I like to use a lot of analogies. So I think the most simplistic view is we're a property management company. If you have a condo in Florida, you probably have somebody manage it for you if you're from New York. So basically that's what we do. We have in Iowa specifically, a very low cost of power. So Iowa is the leading state in the U.S. from a wind energy percentage standpoint. So 65% of our energy comes from wind. So it's a very good state, very low cost of power. Adam, coincidentally, is from Iowa, and that's where the company was started.
Okay.
Basically, we just make it very easy for anybody in the world to mine Bitcoin.
Okay. So
New
you
York,
have you have these is a physical location in Iowa.
So we have data centers. If you go on our website or our Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever, you'll see massive data centers with what look like shipping containers.
Okay.
And those shipping containers are filled with physical Bitcoin miners that are 30, 40 pounds each. They're no different than the computers behind us, basically, and they mine Bitcoin. Mining Bitcoin in New York, for example, would be very difficult because our cost of electricity is very high.
Okay.
So we have access to cheap power. All of the infrastructure is very expensive to build out these sites. So we build the sites, we manage it, and then kind of handle the day-to-day operations. If the machine breaks, we'll fix it. So the property management, I guess, analogy is a good one for this.
How big is this footprint? Is it like a warehouse, a mall? Yeah,
so we have currently 9 sites. So we're the largest Bitcoin mining company in Iowa.
Okay.
We actually just set up the largest mining site in Iowa. It's a 50 megawatt hydro-cooled site, so the machines are physically cooled by a liquid, basically.
Okay.
But these containers, like I said, think of like a shipping container, and any individual site could have anywhere from 5 containers to 50 or 100 containers. So
interesting.
It's not a massive footprint, like as far as total land goes, but from the standpoint of how much energy we're using, we are effectively the largest customer for every utility company we work with.
I was going to say your energy bills.
Yes.
I won't ask about the raw numbers, but I would love to see them because I feel like that would be hilarious. Like I complain about my air conditioner unit in New York.
It's pretty interesting because and not to sidetrack, but there's a lot of misconceptions about energy usage and Bitcoin and just energy usage in general, and there's a lot of misconceptions in the media about energy usage being a bad thing. And if you look at any of the the U.S., China, India, any of the countries who have the highest quality of life generally have the highest energy consumption per GDP. So when you kind of look at that and you consider we have, especially in Iowa, a lot of renewable energy. If renewable energy is not used, it's wasted.
Yep.
So we come in as kind of this like consistent buyer for this energy, actually allow the government and utilities to build out additional infrastructure to accommodate more renewable energy because they know there's a consistent buyer. And then when there is an excess of demand on the grid, so let's say it's very hot out or very cold, we had a storm Friday, I think, right?
Yeah.
Here in New York.
A little nor'easter.
We can actually shut off 100% of our load and allow the rest of the grid to use that capacity.
Interesting. It's helpful to understand sort of the physical layout you have. I'm picturing this in Iowa. So somebody has their unit in your space that they're paying you for. When someone makes that decision, I want to be a client of Simple Mining or someone else, why are they choosing that path in addition to, or maybe instead of owning Bitcoin in a Coinbase wallet or something like that?
Very common question, why mine versus buy Bitcoin? I think there's a lot of different considerations, and by no means are we are not financial advisors, and we don't know what the price of Bitcoin is going to do tomorrow or a year from now. But really what we're in the service industry. And why mine Bitcoin versus buying spot? For a lot of investors, we get a lot of family offices, business owners, some public-private companies, but there's a lot of tax benefits with mining specifically, where most people don't know this, but with the big beautiful bill, 100% bonus depreciation coming back, and not a CPA, I'm not a tax advisor, so
got to get that out there.
Yeah, but you can write off 100% of the purchase price of your equipment, and again, there's different variables depending on your tax bracket and what state you're in. New York's different than Iowa, but on the federal side, you can write off 100% of that purchase. So for a lot of investors, there's a tax play there. And I think for a lot of people also, there's very much so an emotionless side to mining versus just buying spot.
Yeah.
Right? You're getting Bitcoin every single day with these mining machines. You have a fixed input cost of your electricity. Your electricity bill never changes.
Right.
Very stable energy pricing, so your contract with us is fixed. And the benefit to mining is that you are accumulating that Bitcoin at a discount in the current market, basically. So if you put $7 into Coinbase to buy Bitcoin, you're only getting $7 worth of Bitcoin. If you put $7 into your electricity with a mining machine, that machine could produce, let's say, $14, $15 in Bitcoin today, right? So the bull case is that you are accumulating Bitcoin at a discount. If you think Bitcoin is going higher and Bitcoin doubles tomorrow, that same $7 input into Coinbase still only gets you $7. With mining, you have a fixed input of $7, and now instead of $15, you're getting $30 in that scenario.
Okay.
There's some other variables, and not to get super.
It's helpful just to do general scenarios, just to sort of picture.
It's an emotionless DCA at a discount,
yep,
as long as the price of Bitcoin continues to increase, basically.
Okay. Tell us about your customer. I mean, your trajectory into this company, you were in the farm system, an athlete, and then you landed doing this. Tell us about some of your customers. Is this like a side hustle for them? Are they all in? What does that look like?
When we started the business, it was all retail customers. John Doe wanting $5,000 budget, wants one machine, and we quickly realized there was a much larger institutional interest. So we have about 800 customers around the world. So we kind of have our hosting model, we call it, like our people buy machines with us, we manage it. You own the equipment. It's all serialized and all that good stuff. Our clients can come to our sites in person. But our average customer is, I'd say, more of a high net worth individual. It's a lot of family offices, a lot of business owners, so on and so forth there. But we do allow the MOQ one client, minimum order quantity of one client, to come in. So even if you just had a small budget, you can start mining at a smaller scale. So we do work with several large institutions, and some of that's public, some of it's not. But we'll go as large as building and managing sites for public and private companies as well. So there's very much so different scales to what we can offer, but we can service several different types of clients.
Okay, and then tell me a little bit about, so if someone invests in this and they're like sitting around, they're tracking at home, what's like the interface or experience of them getting updates or understanding of total ownership? Yeah,
so we actually, there's no, Bitcoin and crypto, I guess, is very much so like the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
So we've had to build everything from scratch. So for example, like when we started the business, we set up Stripe for credit card payments. Stripe shut us down because we were a Bitcoin company. We've been debanked half a dozen times over 5 years, and now we're at a point where it's very stable.
I was going to say, that must not be the case anymore.
No, yeah. So it's the point being is there's no kind of like one size fits all solution that we can just go, plug and play into our system. So we've had to customize every part of the process from payment to our management system. So we have remote management software and on-site staff 7 days a week, where it's a complete white glove service for you as a customer. So you don't have to like call us and say, hey, my machine's offline.
Okay.
Our system will actually notify you that there's an issue. It'll show the details of the issue. You have as a user, just like you have a Chase Bank account or any other account, you have a login to view your machines, your serial numbers, talk to our support team, see what is going on with your machines, what the production looks like, and so on and so forth. So.
Yeah, I imagine people might be eager to check on something like that versus a bank account when usually it's going down over time outside of a couple times a month. Let's talk a little bit about institutional, because we talk a lot on our programs about institutions diving into crypto. You mentioned being debanked before, and now it's like they're investing in these companies. They're, you know, MasterCard, other companies working on stable coins. It's kind of a different story now. When you said you have individuals coming to you, but also just like businesses, I'm curious, who's like usually the person at the business who's making that decision? Is it like the revenue?
It's a lot of C-suite executives. We've actually had customers, even just recently. We've had normal, customers with just one machine that have orange pilled their companies and have, orange pill fancy, convincing their company to buy Bitcoin, add it to the balance sheet. So we've had several of those situations where the companies have actually bought, machines and made a large investment due to just an individual that was an employee. But the average person from the company reaching out is generally a C-suite executive. We have a lot of different CEOs that work with us across public and private companies. That a lot of them aren't like, on LinkedIn or saying that they're working with us, but we do work with a lot of it is a lot of C-suite executives from these companies. So.
Yeah, we'd had guests in the past talking about this from the DeFi world, saying like you would be surprised at some of these like traditional finance people who, when you get them in a room and you talk about crypto, they're very into it. They're just not out there. So actually, some of the local banks, and going to Chase Bank or TD Ameritrade is very difficult for anything, but we've actually orange pilled some of the local banks in Iowa, where they'll work with us, our customers, if they need accounts for. If I go into Chase to open up a Bitcoin specific LLC, they're going to shut down the application, or at least they used to. I don't know if they still do. So we do have some banks that are comfortable with the business and they're more open to, kind of what the business model is here. So yeah, I mean the Midwest's making moves. I think I said last week South Dakota launched their own stable coin. Sure. Like didn't see that coming. So something's happening. So let's go to the growth, because you mentioned Inc. 5000. That's a huge achievement. The growth, I guess. To what do you attribute most of the growth? Is it just the mainstreamification of Bitcoin and crypto, people understanding it more, understanding sort of like the yield narrative that you laid out? Or were there certain strategies in the go-to-market? Kind of what led to that surge of growth? Because you have to grow significantly to make that list.
There's a lot of credit and people that we can attribute to our growth as a company. There's definitely external factors. You have the President of the United States actively talking about Bitcoin. You have his sons, who I think started a Bitcoin mining company, and there's BlackRock. You have the fastest growing ETF in history with the Bitcoin ETF. So there's definitely external factors with the ETFs and institutional adoption. As far as like specifically our company, the tax benefits also have been a large piece as well. But I think just our ability, and can credit all of our individual employees and people that have helped us get to where we are today. I think it's just been a lot of word of mouth, and just we started as a very small company, and we always kind of our model is just under promise and over deliver. And again, there are a lot of external factors, but in order to build a good company, you need good people and you need to execute. And all the way from our on-site technicians to our marketing team to whoever else is involved here has played an equal role in getting us to where we are today.
Yeah, and you touched on briefly the regulatory landscape. Obviously, a lot of movement there. How are you feeling, scale of 1 to 10 right now, about how things are? Are you pretty happy, or are there other policies or things that could happen in DC that would further help your growth?
Yeah, I am not a politician, but I think at this point the industry's here to stay. Again, like with the amount of dollars being invested in these ETFs, and again, I mentioned the president openly talking about Bitcoin, and I'm not a crypto. We're very much so kind of Bitcoin only, but just crypto in general is obviously not going anywhere. And I think I think at this point in time, specifically in Iowa, Iowa's a very good state, very pro kind of Bitcoin and data center business. Apple, Google, Amazon, Facebook have data centers here. So a lot of the AI companies are building in Des Moines and some other areas. So I don't think it's going anywhere. As far as like additional framework that could help, you know, I think there could be better tax incentives on. You see a lot of things about transacting in Bitcoin. I think just like from an adoption standpoint, if there were more tax friendly laws that are more advantageous to, you know, use your Bitcoin on a day-to-day basis without paying taxes on that. I think that could be a big step forward that a lot of people speak about. But specifically for our business, the bonus depreciation is like the biggest one that just incentivizes new business growth, I think, for us and also for our customers. So yeah, I think overall the geopolitical landscape, I think, is very, very positive right now. So
lots of updates there for sure. So for people listening at home, maybe they're long-term Bitcoin holders, they've been thinking, they're interested in learning more, curious how this all works. Where can they learn more about Simple Mining and how to get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, our website, the best place to be our website, simplemining.io. We're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're all over the place. You can
DM him. That's how. Maybe you get a job. I don't know.
Sure. We've had quite a few employees come from DMs. Actually, probably half a dozen employees come from just customers that have provided some good insights.
That's how you know people like your product. And they're like, actually, I would also like to work there.
But yeah, our website will be our best place to reach out to us.
All right. Well, Nick, thank you so much for swinging by here at the NYSE. And everyone, again, this is Nick Garland, COO of Simple Mining, out of Iowa, named 5,000 fastest growing business. We'll see you next time with another Stocktwits executive interview.